PKN 368. How are
How's
you,
it going,
boys?
gentlemen?
Taylor, welcome back. Good to see you.
Yeah, it was
Good to see
weird. It was
Look at
weird
that.
not
Love
doing
that
the show
t-shirt.
for so
I want
long.
that shirt.
I know.
I like
it's the shirt. It's not me.
No, it's not true. I'm just
But,
saying you're looking buff.
I
I don't know
appreciate
why.
it. Thank you.
I tried to get your shirt. It's stupid.
I was in the I actually took advantage of the hotel gym while I was there. So basically, I missed because of what's going on with my wife. And it was going there and seeing like this like high quality expert doctor made me like so much more like, oh, that original guy did not know what the fuck he was talking about, because the original guy being like, it's a tumor and I'm happy to operate whenever, he's like clearly thinking about playing tennis. And then like this guy who has an Italian accent and is Italian, they Mayo Clinic much just scooped him up from Italy and brought him over, and he's like, yes, it is very obviously not the tumor. And it was like, and he's like, in like passing, it was like that level of like genius, almost autism, where he's like,
Yes.
it's actually called a cavernous malformation, which is in the spine, very rare, but it's the blood vessels get overgrowing and tangling, and that can leak because those blood vessels have thinner walls, and that leakage of blood in there can cause, you know, tons of problems because it's the spinal cord. And he was like, just as an aside, and he's like, and it's something, I guess you could say I'm the world expert on it. You know, doctors, when they try and learn about cavernous malformation, they read my book on cavernous malformation.
You may have heard of it. Cavernous malformation.
For dummies.
Yeah, for dummies. And I was like, all right, this makes me feel a lot better. But he basically was like, they did another MRI there, because apparently like there are levels of like what you can see on an MRI, and like the one at Mayo is like twice as good because they probably spent 3 times as much
They've
on
got
it.
a better MRI there.
It's
Yeah,
the
they
one at
even-
Mayo, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still a little upset. I feel like everybody should be on the same playing field as far as
not
equipment
me.
goes.
If you told me you went to
They're like-
Sloan Kettering, I'd be like, yeah, they've got this year's MRI.
I just imagine them pulling out the stethoscope and it's got fucking digital readout on it or something like. They're like, oh no, that's a heart murmur you have. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, I can hear it with. No, see, there's a view screen here. It's like an iPad. See, I can see your heart. You can
You
see
did-
my heart with your stethoscope. Yeah.
The lady, when she was like giving us the exit paperwork or whatever it's called, it said they're like, in 8 weeks to 12 weeks, get another MRI with a 7M machine. And she like said like, and you know, it doesn't have to be 7M. I think we're one of the only places in the country that has one. They probably have a 3M, but that's fine. And it was like, wait, they're like 4 behind? Like,
Maybe.
they're very behind at this point, you know, unless it's like the way Xbox does it and they just went 3 to 7.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. But yeah, the last week has been just nonstop go. Like we drove to Mayo Clinic 7 hours in Rochester in Minnesota, and it was just pretty much every day. Like, and that's, if people don't know, Mayo Clinic is a very well-known medical clinic, and their thing is like, if it's something urgent that needs to be taken care of in like a week's time, instead of setting months of appointments, you go to the Mayo Clinic.
It's so funny you say that. Like I'm pretty sure everyone knows. I was literally recommended a documentary on Amazon. It was called like Mayo Clinic, The Miracle Workers, or something like that.
They're very good. I mean, there's a reason they like on their campus, like all these flags. They're like #1, and it's a bunch of, you know, fucking doctors walking around and everything. But so we're doing
With
tests
foam fingers.
with foam fingers. They have like T-shirts like radiology rules. No, fuck dermatology, man. Like little rivalries. But yeah, it was nonstop. You know, doing tests and everything. Pretty. Like my wife and I pretty much instantly when we were talking to the doctors there, because you get assigned like a team of doctors, not just one guy. And like we immediately knew like these people are way, way better. They're taking this more seriously. They gave her a little more, I think, comfort about it, gave both of us that, where they were like, you know, and he was realistic about it too, which I liked, where he's, you know, we're saying, kind of what's the long-term thing here? You know, she's in a lot of pain, but actually the week we were there, her pain started getting a little bit lighter. But I think that could be, you know, she hasn't been working. She's, you know, I'm forcing her to take it extra super easy. And she got on that second MRI, he said that the amount of blood had gone down, and that since it was going down and it didn't seem to be actively bleeding, that we should take 8 to 12 weeks and then get another MRI. And then he can say, you know, okay, well, it's still progressing in the right direction, or it's really not progressing in the right direction. I'm going to recommend surgery. And it's kind of like, hopefully it's going in the right direction. But even then, he was saying like, even if it totally disappears, there's this is really rare, and based on our data, there's about 50% chance it'll rebleed. And if it rebleeds, that could cause even more problems. And so what might be best to do would be to go in, take care of it, before it could bleed worse. And even then he was like, but this is a spinal cord surgery, not the spine, the cord. So like, it's not uncommon. Like you might get numbness in some areas on your legs. You might have like a weakness that you need to like then learn to work through. And so that made us both feel better. We agreed that it seems best, and he seemed to lean this way too. He was like, take 8 weeks, 12 weeks, come back, or just do it in St. Louis, and then I'll analyze it and tell you. And so that's where we're at right now. She's still not doing anything, but just staying around the house. And she's like, I'm often kind of like a hermit, and so I don't mind staying home all the time. And she's not like that at all. And so I'm having to like keep telling her like, no, you can't go hang out with your nephews. You can't you can't pick up our 12-pound dog right now.
No tackle football in the park.
Yeah.
Show her the ways of agoraphobia.
Did you drive?
Get yourself an Xbox account and learn to play.
Did they warn her against flying or anything like that?
That was a concern, but also she just naturally is wary on planes, like gets nervous, and she would be like all tensed up, and so we just decided to drive.
Yeah, that's exactly why I asked, because that's a long drive. I don't know. Drives like that, I'm so fucking stiff and angry when I get there. After 4 hours is like my max. Like obviously I've driven. I don't know what the longest I've been in a car continuously is, from the break of from 5 a.m. until midnight the next day or something like that, probably. So like all day before. But I'm not driving continuously. Like if it's more than 4 or 5 hours without a stop and like a real stretching, I hate it.
Dude,
I would have driven too. I feel like I don't know where the breakover is to start flying, but for me it might be double that, like closer to 12 hours. Because if it's a 6-hour drive, it's what, a 2-hour flight, and then you need to get there 2 hours before. If you're packing any luggage, there's an hour to get out of there. There's the rental car insanity of getting there and the lines and all that, and then once you're there, you don't have your car, you have some rental, and it's nice to just show up with like your comfort car and all the luggage you want to bring and stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, and it didn't even like, so we got through the week at Mayo, and this whole time like I'm having to like text my brother and be like, hey, I might not be able to make it to your wedding, which is a couple days ago. Like, and so we were able to make it, thankfully. So we finished the week at Mayo, drove, all the way back to my house, spent the night. We were there for like 12 hours, and then we drive, 4 hours to KC for my brother's wedding and stayed overnight there 2 days. And so just last night was our first night back, and it's so much better being home. I don't like being on the road and not me. It's just like, and I was so excited. My chest press thing arrived. And like, when I got back, like I was so excited for it that like my wife was like, you don't just want to hang out on the couch, just you and me tonight with the dogs and everything. And I'm like, I want to put together my chest press. And I was like, and she's like, oh, come on, just hang out with me up here. And so I'm like, just straight up like 6-year-old level of pouting around the upstairs, like until she's like, put together your fucking chest press.
Did the doctor talk about, I guess, two things, like were there lifestyle changes she needs to make to help deal with this, whether it be diet or exercise or who knows what? And did he like suggest anything that might have caused it? Is he like, sweetheart, you're laying on your back and there's repeated pelvic trauma. you have spinal damage.
That's exactly what it was. No, it's like, it's so not common that he like, when we were asking questions like that, like, is there anything she could be doing or taking or eating or not doing? And he's like, this is, he's like, I'm an expert on this all throughout the world. And I've seen maybe 50 people with precisely what you have, because usually these cavernous malformations happen in the brain itself, not in the spinal cord.
You sound lucky.
Yeah, We thought that, but it's almost bad for different reasons.
Okay.
And it really just depends like where the blood is, like if it's like intertwined in the cord itself or if it's near the surface of the spinal cord. There's a bunch of stuff like that. But we kept asking, like, does she need to not pick things up? Does she need to not do this and that? And he was like, just abide by what the pain says. But from all the studies we've done, like, we can't find anything other than like just getting fucked with a genetic thing generally. And like you just get bad luck. And people get it. Thankfully, she's young and healthy, and so that makes it a lot easier. And you know, we obviously have fear, and you know, he was very frank about it. We're like, what about things like permanent paralysis? And he's like, no, I wouldn't be worried about that. If there's always a risk of that with the spinal cord, but you know, he's like, I've worked on people who have these in their brain and are, you know, 72 years old and also like, you know, not doing well, and they have an okay prognosis, like long term. Well, not long term if you're 75, but mid-term, short term.
They made it all the way to 73 and a half.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's basically what it all was. We figured out a lot more, and now we're kind of playing the waiting game. I'm still just because there's not like a study that says like you shouldn't pick up heavy things. It's your fucking spine. You shouldn't. It just common sense. You know, you shouldn't be like if it
She
hurts.
needs to be on the squat rack.
Yourself. She needs to be squatting, and I think heavy. I think 1 rep maxing.
Yeah,
6 days a week.
I mean, as long as you're lifting with your legs, I think it's right.
No.
You want to make the spinal cord stronger. But that was like, and like, so we're still both we're both insisting that she just takes it super, super easy for the next, 8 weeks or whenever we decide to get it. But there is like still the scary part of like, he told us, he's like, she's already had, I would assume 2 bleeds back there. And that makes it likely that it's going to happen again. And, even us asking like, how do we know if there's like a bleed going on? And he's like, oh, you won't have to call me. You will know. Cause like, you'll be like getting numb and like in excruciating pain, like much worse than usual.
Jesus.
In which case you need to go directly to, whoever the best person is here to do that. But that would not be ideal. I would obviously want to make it back ASAP to the Mayo Clinic. So he didn't say he thought that was like overly likely given her age. But we're still on the lookout, being pretty vigilant, keeping an eye.
She's younger than you, right?
Yeah, she's 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So just bad luck, bad genetic luck.
Dr. Boyardi.
Yeah, Dr. Boyardi. It's a secondary career. That's not even where he makes most of his money, believe it or not.
His brother's the chef. His brother's the chef.
Can you imagine that being like the best neurosurgeon in the country and still outshone by your ravioli making this brother?
It's not even a good
son of a, like everybody's like proud of him. But like the chef Boyardee, no one wants to ask about him and his surgeries. I wouldn't want to. You can tell like a lot of these like high level doctors are absolutely autistic. Like they're so into these things. Like, who is so interested in cavernous malformations that like on his own time after work, he's like, yes. Like,
I wonder if it's
I think
environmental autism or like a genetic one, right? Like
I think it's genetic. It's whenever someone is like the top of their field at anything that's really difficult to do. Because like I've got a really good doctor. I can't remember what his specialty is, but like, I don't know, you go into his office and like you see the diplomas and they're all like Ivy League schools. There's like 3 different Ivy League schools on the wall. And he's like 75 or something. He's this old fucker. And I Googled him once, and it was just all of this charity work he does and everything. But he's not like the top 0.01%. He's like the top 2%. So he's still got a personality. Yeah. He's got like, he makes jokes. Like you walk in, like when I walked in with that sty in my eye, he was like, oh, that's a sty. Yeah. like he knows his shit, but he's also still got like, he doesn't have the tism, but like those people who are like the top 0.1%, I feel like they're all just on the spectrum. Oh yeah. He was sitting there, the most educated man on earth, with his shirt buttons so tight that like you could see his belly through like the pull up, and it's like, I don't know. That was a funny juxtaposition, like very solemn discussion, and like his like a button's about to pop off of his,
it would be funny
shirt.
If shy, like, ow.
I know you got a stressful job and you deal with it by overeating, apparently.
I've talked before about how swimmers are sometimes socially retarded. Retarded isn't like held back. I'm looking for a better word.
Yeah.
But because they spend 6 hours a day with their face in the water, just looking to the side like that, it'll make you weird. It's not there isn't a team dynamic.
It's the chlorine.
You put your face in the water 6 hours a day, your entire formative years from the time you're 6 to the time you're 22, and you'll be weird. It happens to us, a lot of them. Do that with a book, and a similar thing could happen. That was the theory.
Yeah. I actually, while I was there, I bought a book because I forgot to bring the Stormlight Archive one, and I bought Needful Things, which is you remember that Rick and Morty episode with
I'm familiar.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was like a Stephen King book he wrote.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I saw that there, and
you thought Rick and Morty had an original idea?
Well, no, I'm positive. I'm positive I have seen that idea or that bit thrown out there before. Times. And so I was like, oh, it's just like, when Family Guy or South Park did this. But no, I started reading it, and it's not as funny as the the Rick and Morty episode, but it is good. It's interesting. It got to the point though, it's like as Stephen King is wont to do, it's an 800-page book, and I think I got to page 280 before anybody died. Like it was at the point where it's like people have got to start getting fucked up pretty soon, or I'm gonna quit. But yeah, it's a pretty good book. He's such a fucking weirdo. Such a weirdo.
Do you want to talk about weirdo? Like I did a rewatch of Sons of Anarchy recently. He's in an episode, and Stephen King is, and he plays a character that they call to come clean up a dead body. Long story short, there's a dead body, and they're like, "What are we gonna do about this?" And he's like, "Well, I think that cleaner guy, he lives up this way, doesn't he?" They're like, "Yeah, but how much money do you have?" And they pool their money. They've only got like $2,000, and this guy costs like $5,000. And he shows up, and it's Stephen King riding his own personal motorcycle, even though they begged him not to ride a motorcycle because of insurance reasons. He's like, the only way I come on your show is if you got a motorcycle show, I'm coming on my bike. And so like he shows up on his bike, fucking being weird as fuck. And like he goes downstairs with this woman. He's like measuring her arms and stuff like that. And he's like, all right, I can do this. And he comes back up after like a couple hours, and he goes, all right, all done. They're like, where is she? He goes, where is who? And they're just like, okay, well, here we've only got like $2,700, but take anything you want. And he like goes and gets this weird like knickknack. He just like grabs the biggest thing he can, just like, yeah, this weird fucking, it was like a golden hand or something like that. Just like takes it and just walks out like nonchalantly. It was so bizarre. It was one of the weirder things I've ever seen on that show. He's a weird dude.
He like his face looked.
It's from The Accident.
Spooky looking guy.
Wait, he had. Tell me more.
He was. I want to say he was struck by a vehicle. He was either a pedestrian or.
Really?
I want to say. Yeah, he almost died. It's why he doesn't ride as well anymore. He nearly died.
Or was it a motorcycle accident?
I don't remember the specifics. I know he was struck by a car. I don't know if he was a pedestrian or on a bike or in a car himself. I just know that he was struck by a car, seriously injured, and barely came away with his life.
I looked at his bike. It's pretty cool. He has a Harley. It's white and orange. And it looks like he's had it for a long, long time because there's pictures of him at different ages with what seems like the same bike.
Lots of like stuff on it.
It's got a big windshield, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The one I saw I thought was red, but
he was on a walk. Zach looked at it. Here, let me read it. June 19th, 1999, Stephen King was hit by a vehicle while out on one of his usual walks. His body was thrown through the air, and he landed in a ditch, seriously injured but not dead. So he was walking.
Yeah.
That just proves motorcycles are safe.
It does. That's what I thought it was. It's just been so long. But yeah, his writing hasn't been quite as good since then, I don't think. I think that's sort of the general consensus.
And he's old as can be also, right? Like
his son helps him with a lot of his writing now. I don't know when 1120. I think 11/22/63 was one of his later works, but it is my favorite.
How does one help somebody else with writing?
Oh, there's so much. Like I know with 1120, like with a lot of the research and that he had to do for something like when he's writing pure fiction, like about like, oh yeah, these people are in a town and this crazy stuff happens. It's like you don't really need a lot of research. But if he's doing something like 11/22/63 that involved the JFK assassination, he wanted everything to be correct, like all the historical stuff, as well as all the technological stuff, because they were moving around in time. Like he's not a super tech savvy guy, and so he needed a lot of help with that. So like a lot of the research, and but I know his son's a writer as well. He writes similar kinds of stuff.
His wife is
And
a horror author too.
I was about to say his wife also.
I misunderstood you for a moment there. I thought you called his wife a whore. His wife
Oh,
is
no.
Oh,
It's a horror
and
writer.
his wife's a whore.
Yeah, I have really strong opinions about Tabitha
his
King.
son's an author and his wife's a whore.
Yeah. She doesn't respect him anymore now that the books are getting shittier.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I like the Stephen King. He's probably my favorite. He's got to be my favorite author. If you like pull out the people who like J.K. Rowling with the Harry Potter shit, or J.R.R. Tolkien. If you just remove them from the equation, because it's not like I like their other stuff. J.K. Rowling's other books are god awful.
I didn't even know she made other books.
Do you have negative feelings about J.K. Rowling's? Some people say that she's made attempts to stay relevant by changing the lore to make Dumbledore gay. Look, I'm 50% right on this stuff.
No, I think it's Dumbledore, but
what did I call him?
Dumbledore. You added an F on the end.
Yes,
But
all right,
That's
right.
not actually
it's a made-up
retcon.
wizard's name.
Dumbledore is Dumbledore's gay brother.
It's pretty clear in the books that Dumbledore is gay. What I've seen is that it's quite the opposite, that she is the one who's usually labeled as the racist and the homophobe because of her opinions on trans rights and some of the things that she did with some of her characters. But it's sort of other people sort of trying to redefine her characters and her kind of standing up and being like, no, that's not really how I wrote it. That's not kind of what I was thinking. And then people be like, what do you expect from a white woman in the 90s? And it's like, all right. I think I'm glad I've got copies of these books before you people can get your hands on them 30 years from now.
I didn't fully follow, so maybe an audience member didn't too. So you think that she's pretty innocent and people are projecting these bad things on her?
I think so. Like, I know they have an issue that Harry Potter's one of Harry Potter's girlfriends' name is Cho Chang, and they're like, "Ha! You named the Asian chick Cho Chang," and like I've heard from Asian people be like, "Yeah, that's like Becky Smith."
Yeah, right.
Makes a lot of fucking sense. Like, or like one girl was like, "My name's Cho Chang."
That's a real name.
It was just absurd that they're having issue with it. But there's plenty of like black main characters and interracial relationships, and literally Dumbledore is so clearly gay and had well,
never mind. I only saw the movie, so I was going to say I didn't pick up on that, but
yeah, you get it more in the books, but just by you get more of his history and everything, and I mean the dude's been a bachelor for 100 fucking years or something like that. It's like Sappho and her friend, I
love that subreddit.
You pick it up after a while. Like he's got all these male friends that has these incredibly close relationships with that are like-minded wizards and stuff like that. It's pretty clear what's going on.
Sappho and her friend. I guess Sappho is the name of a lesbian in history or something, and instead of saying this is her like wife or lover, they make it her friend. And the whole subreddit is about sort of miscasting gay people as straights with friends or what have you. I saw one post where this guy went to school with a girl, and she said, if they ever make gay marriage legal, my God, like everyone will just marry women because they're obviously better, right? And it's like, you're gay. You're gay. If you want to marry a girl like that, you're gay.
I just can't stop thinking about pussy. The
only reason you marry a guy is that it's illegal to do otherwise. You're gay.
Yeah.
Not even saying no to the whole marriage thing, just getting married, straight married when you're gay.
Yeah.
I mean, like Alexander the Great, except back then it was like, yeah, our awesome general fucks guys. I fuck guys too.
Whether they like it or not.
We all fuck guys. We go on 15-year campaigns and we have a lot of gay sex together.
Yeah, it doesn't make us gay though.
No, we're only doing that because women aren't here.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you don't have any hangups, I guess. I asked some guys the other night about the question of whether you'd rather have sex with a dead woman or a live man, and
How long has she been dead?
She's just died. This is what everyone asks.
Okay.
Everyone asks, how long has she been dead? How about this? She's chilly. She's been dead long enough to get cold. She's cold now.
Let's go with the man then.
Yeah, I go with the man no matter what. I don't care if her head just fell off. You're fucking a dead body. There's a reason why one of these acts is literally a crime.
You're just a necrocist.
Necrophile.
No, you're against necrophile.
Oh.
You're a necrocist. And I don't like the way you're judging.
You're a necrophobe.
I just made the word up, but it works. A necrophobe.
necrophobe.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
But that applies to people who are afraid of zombies too.
That's true. I mean, would you?
I was trying to make him racist against people who fuck dead people.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not. I don't want to. Fuck
did everybody pick man?
I think everyone. I think everyone said they wanted to fuck a dead woman.
I think that would fuck you up long term more. Yeah,
I think so too. I think especially if I can get a femboy in the action, like I'm definitely fucking the femboy, like 100% of the time.
Being forced to have gay sex would definitely be traumatic.
I mean, you got to get in the spirit of it. You can't be like crying the whole. Give it boo hoo! I gotta fuck this.
Yeah,
you're like, wait, I didn't have to be the bottom.
Like, get in position. All right. Give it to them. They're like, whoa.
I mean, I don't know how the dead woman's going to peg me, so I'm going to have to go with them.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah. That's
I was the bottom, and he finished in my mouth. This wasn't necessary.
Threesome with the man and the dead woman.
Out on it.
Jesus, things went down a dark road. But yeah, I didn't want to. Excuse me, I don't want to fuck a dead woman. Okay, that's on the bottom of my list of. There's a character in. I bring up Sons of Anarchy. It's been weeks since I watched it, but like I think Trig or something like that. Tig. Yeah, Tig was talking about fucking dead women. They're in the morgue, and he's like staring at the chick's tits, and they're like, "Go ahead, Tig. You want to grab them?" He's like, "Well, I mean, if we're already here, you know." He's like, he's just talking about how fun it is to fuck a dead woman because they just lay there and they don't move, and then they're quiet, and it's just, and the other character goes, There's a lot wrong with you, isn't there? It's just like, because he's always fucked up like that. Like he's always like giving these little glimpses into his sex life, and everybody will just be like, I see. That's right. You've had sex with horses and dead women. I see now. You are a bizarre human being.
Yeah, and
so you mentioned Sons of Anarchy, and I'm like, oh, we're almost out of Walking Dead content. There's only 2 more episodes, and they're from this year. And then we have to wait week by week. Anyway, I'm like, maybe Colin and I will watch Sons of Anarchy. And then the way you lay it out, that seems like bad parenting.
It's rough, man. I stopped watching somewhere around season 4 or something like that. Like there's a point where it gets too hardcore for me, and I start feeling like uncomfortable. It like starts upsetting me. When they beat Opie to death in prison with pipes, that's rough. And then later on, when they scoop that one guy's eyeball out as he's sitting there screaming and send his eyeball to his friends, and he's like a main fucking character, and they're talking about cutting his fingers off with his throttle hand, and it's just like, boys, the stakes are too high. I'm here for Harleys and fun. Okay? You spent 4 years like everybody would shoot a machine gun at each other, and one guy got shot in the ass. Every one of you has a bullet wound in your ass at this point because the stakes are so goddamn low. And then all of a sudden, we're beating people to death with pipes and scooping eyeballs out and cutting fingers off. I'm out. Too much.
Walking Dead is pretty parallel to that. First of all, a lot of people die. We've talked about that many times.
Sure.
But Carl loses his eye, and he doesn't cover. Like Negan demands that he's like, Carl, you are like a Christmas present. I can't wait to unwrap. Take it off. I want to see your eye hole. And he does. And there's this gory, awful eye hole that hasn't healed yet. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's terrible. And he hurts his feelings so bad that Negan feels bad about how mean he's being. And then this guy just beat the fuck out of Glenn and Abraham with a baseball bat a few days earlier. So they're like, we're not too far from a pipe and a eye hole.
I need to rewatch Sons of Anarchy because I remember, I guess I never cared enough or paid enough attention that you're 1,000,000% right, Kyle. Like the first couple seasons, it's like petty crimes. And by like season 5, they're doing things that are so outrageous that like they're like a real gang. Like they couldn't be going around with like, oh, wow. They'd be like wearing an ISIS jacket. is what they would be doing. And it's
Pretty
like, no,
much.
you guys 3 seasons ago, you guys left the point where like you could recover from this. Every time a cop saw any of you, you would be pulled over and arrested for being.
I remember it being about the
group.
relationship with a handsome dude's wife and mom and shit like that so much. Did they not devote a ton of airtime to the married with children woman?
Oh, yeah.
Too much.
Katie Seagal is her name. A ton of time is spent on that. But they're gun runners, so like the ATF is always all over them. They're constantly murdering people. Like to say that the first few seasons are kind of like light work is a little underplaying how hardcore it is, because they murder a lot of people in seasons 1, 2, and 3. Like all the time they're murdering and like gang members, bad people, or it's like kind of quasi bad people. Like they killed that ATF agent, and all she had done, I mean, she was like dirty. She had been setting them up, and she had killed her own partner and framed her for some stuff. But
that's pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. But I mean, they like straight up murdered her. But I
want someone to die that fully didn't deserve it. That you're like, this is a tragic thing that just went down.
I mean, they gang raped Katie Seagal. Like there's all. It's rough.
I think she survives the series though, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she survives.
The main guy.
Everybody. I mean, spoilers here, but like everybody else dies. Like pretty much everybody dies.
Spoilers for this show.
Who gang rapes? Right? Instead of rival motorcycle gang does.
No, the white supremacists.
Oh, are our guys fighting for diversity?
I think it was about gun rights or something. Like
the white supremacists
scoop in on their business. The
white supremacists don't want them to be doing business with black and brown, as they put it so eloquently.
What kind of gang doesn't want to make as much money as possible?
Well, see, that's part of the the plot of the season, is that the higher ups of the white supremacists are like, yeah, the Mexicans have plenty of money, let's sell them some dope. But then like the middling guys are the ones who are like true believers, and they're like, no, we've got to get the Sons of Anarchy to stop selling guns to Mexicans and black people, because why are we arming those people? They shouldn't be doing that. So that's kind of like, that's part of the plot of the whole season.
I don't remember much about that story. Eventually the top white supremacists, like, I mean, that would be like the owner of GameStop, like just having like a couple rogue franchises that would not sell violent games to children. Like, and you right away, they'd be like, no, you fucking sell that shit. This is GameStop. You have to.
Yeah. Henry Rollins, I think, is in that season. I think he's like the middling guy who's like a true believer. Like his sons are like fucking Hitler Youth, cracked out little psychos and shit. They're super fucking scary.
I need to rewatch it. I don't want the Sons of Anarchy to be good. I don't want them to have lots of heroic tendencies like diversity.
No, I think they're bad. Yeah,
Walter White was pretty bad. Walter White was in it for Walter White.
They're as bad as Walter White.
Walter White was issued an out like in the first season when he could have taken that job with healthcare and whatever. And so he obviously became this dealer and kingpin as like an ego, extra money. Like it was he wanted to be somebody of significance, I think, was his central driver.
Yeah.
So he was bad and he broke bad. I don't want the Sons of Anarchy to be like, we're bad, but in the name of like gay rights.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. That's so stupid. They are very tolerant though, because you can't have a show about like bigots. So like there is like a Puerto Rican in the gang, and like Tig is like down to, there's a Walter Goggins comes on and guest stars for a while as a transsexual, which is hilarious because he is not passable. And they are not trying to make him passable.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
I don't want to rewatch.
He's got that Alabama accent, and he just sounds just like a good old Alabama boy.
How much content is it? Is it like Supernatural where there's like 20-hour long?
Seven seasons, 92 episodes. It says on their wiki.
Yeah, good many, and they're longish, like 40 minutes each.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a good bit of content.
Yeah, similar to Walking Dead in the length. Like some shows are 20. It's either 22 or 42, roughly.
It's a lot less in the length of a show, but Walking Dead's 11 years.
It's half hour versus an hour slot.
11 years of hour-long shows, and it's in the 20s towards the end, like 22 and 24 episodes a year.
I saw a preview for like a current episode the other day of Walking Dead, and it was a little intriguing. They're not sucking me back in, but Negan's so good. I like him. I like that guy as an actor. He was great in Supernatural, and I've enjoyed him in everything he's ever done. But I love his cadence. He's just got this way of talking, and I'm just like, yeah, I could get behind this guy. Why isn't he leading? Why is Maggie in charge? Why is Maggie leading the crew?
Negan has a way of taking the time he wants to take to make his point, and you're still hanging on every word, right? If someone else talks slowly, you might be like, next guy, but not Negan. Also, he takes space, right? He's always using the unoccupied space with his arms and is leaning back, and there's something like just
and
not nervous about it.
Like he's moving around. Like he's not just sitting here like, what, you've got to understand this. He's just like, well, good googly move. Like he can't say fuck. He can't say fuck or cock or he's very limited on his language. So he's just like, good gracious almighty, what do we have here? like he's just like moving around and just like he's so scary. You can say shit. You can say shit on network. But he can say shit, asshole, goddamn, damn.
You can say bitch.
He definitely uses those.
But you can't say fuck. Cunt is a real slippery slope. It depends on your network.
Don't recall any of that.
Yeah, there's no cunts in there.
Cunt.
But here's
you can, but the question is like what are the advertisers going to say about that?
The tragedy of Walking Dead is that the show took a dip after they introduced Negan. They just took too long to beat down the survivors. It took a couple dips. Took a dip around season 2. Took a dip around season 7, if I'll tell it right. But what also happened along the way is they picked up better actors. If you rewatch seasons like 1 and 2, you'll be like, a lot of these actors kind of suck. Like there are some low tier actors who aren't good at acting, including the guy that plays Daryl. Watch it again. All he does is throw shitty temper tantrums and deliver his lines unconvincingly. I'm positive you'll agree with me upon fresh watch.
He is a great actor, and in the first season,
literally an awful actor. But there are a couple awful actors. The guy that plays Dale is a pretty bad actor.
Daryl's brother, for the short period of time that he's on, remember that guy? He's a great actor.
Merle in the show.
Yeah, Merle.
I never had issues with his acting.
He's
T-Dog,
the guy.
You might not remember T-Dog or Jacqueline early on.
I remember T-Dog.
All bad actors.
I felt like the black people were often poorly cast. Like I don't know. I feel like we needed a Ving Rhames or somebody in there, somebody who like had some gravitas, or what's the lazy-eyed black guy who's a great actor?
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker in there is like some sort of nomad who'd been living out there covered in goo for years.
Better budgets later on to get, or maybe the show was just more attractive, so they were able to get better.
They're always cutting that budget.
Not this year, man. Like there's a drop of blood that I watched fall onto a zombie, and I'm like, was that a $18,000 drop of blood? Like the CGI they did and the camera angle that like followed it down and then the split. And I was like, that's like Game of Thrones level shit that they just sort of tossed in there. As
I didn't know they were still making the show.
Yeah, this is the last year.
Yeah,
there's
you never
a
know.
next year.
You never know with CGI though. Like you could be absolutely right. Or it could be like, oh yeah, that comes free. That comes free now with when you buy the app.
It is possible.
The magic blood drop. Yeah. Watch this. Now look, this is a magic blood drop falling on you. Check it out. Cool, huh? I just made that.
So if you watch like the first 10 years of it take place like in the same 3 towns and in the woods, which is pretty inexpensive set to deal with. Now they're exploring subways and shit. So it's like they must have done something to make that happen.
Dude, it's right over here. Like I've been there. like it's like 20 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. Like it's nonsense. Like the places where they film at. They build those little towns. They fence everything in. They keep the traffic away from them, and like that's just what Georgia looks like in the country. There
are motor vloggers, like motorcycle YouTubers, who go and explore the Walking Dead sets and just like show it to you, and you see it like without the magic.
That's cool.
There's an Airbnb that was like one of the churches that was like a main element of the show for a while that you can stay in now. And I guess the kid that played Carl is a bit of an amateur artist. He's terrible. And it's like decorated with his paintings.
He's no Hunter Biden.
He needs to get that straw out that he's been.
The ink art.
I like to imagine that like, he does a few lines with the straw, and then he does the ink blowings with the same straw.
I like that idea.
Let's see, Chandler Riggs. Oh, these are like posters of the character. I was looking for his horrible art.
Yeah, just Chandler Riggs artwork. Maybe that'll maybe that'll pull it up. But yeah, it's quite bad unless he's like grown as an artist over the last 5 years.
If he's grown as an artist over the last 5 years, he's 22, so that's totally possible.
Yeah, I mean, if he kept at it, I'm literally judging the art that I saw like 5 years ago or something like that. This has been a rough week for me. I have been sick for, I think since Thursday. I think since PKA.
Symptoms?
It sucks.
Started with a really bad sore throat, and then nasal congestion, and then fever, and a really bad cough and chest congestion, where I'm like coughing up like really thick mucus.
These are like COVID greatest hits. You were aware of that? You didn't get tested?
I'm just gonna stay here in the home base until it goes away. It feels like it's getting a little bit better. I've just been treating it with chicken noodle soup, and that seems to have done the trick for the most part. And like Tylenol, sinus pressure.
Get yourself some ivermectin. Get your hooves on some ivermectin, Kyle.
Your hooves. Where you already take vitamin D, don't you?
Come on, that's good shit.
I think that like if nothing else, like the ridiculous amount of vitamins that I take and my incredibly high testosterone levels will allow me to fight off the COVID-19. If that
pretty much everybody is like got deficient vitamin D.
Not me.
Not me either.
Good. Yeah, I take it also, and it's supposed to be good for you.
I take enormous amounts.
Well, then hopefully you'll
more
be
than you're
getting better
supposed
soon.
to. Like it's like 1,000% of what you need. Like that's gotta cover it, right?
Dude, Kyle, you've been sick twice in like the last month.
Yeah, but it was food poisoning the other time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had like.
Remember, he took Chick-fil-A and it made him sick.
I might have been sick.
Chick-fil-A again later. It was a reverse Uno.
It was so gross. Oh, that was so gross. This isn't that bad, at least. I have been like one of the things I would like we talked about how like that doctor is like so on the spectrum that it could even be hard to get a good answer out of him. Whereas if you have like a doctor who's more personable, he can like I personally, I feel like things that I know a lot about, I'm good at explaining it to a layman. I feel like I'm good at breaking it down for somebody who doesn't know what like I hear people talk about guns sometimes who are like gun experts, and I'm like, dude, you're talking over my head at this point. Like you're overcomplicating this thing to make yourself sound smarter than you are. This is some basic bitch shit. This is so simple. Just say what it is and stop using your fucking buzzwords like you're in the Marine Corps or something like that. Army guys are the worst about this. Military guys with their fucking acronyms. Yeah. Get out of here. We know that you're all just one credit away from not even having your GED, and they've got you so high up that pay ladder that you can't believe it. Like, let's not pretend like you guys are fucking the A team out there with your acronyms, okay? But they overcomplicate that shit. I want a doctor who can break it down in layman's terms and explain to me how so much mucus can come out of my nose in a 1 day period. Because if I were collecting it, it would be like something out of a freak show. It would look like something out of Ghostbusters or like Alien when they're just like, ah. Like,
I mean, that can't be good.
I was rubbing my nose so raw from Kleenex, and I stopped using Kleenex and started using a damp bath towel. So
Did you buy the Kleenex with lotion in it?
No, because I'm afraid that I have COVID and I don't want to go out. I don't want to make a big deal and say I have COVID. I probably don't, but if I do, I'm quarantined.
Just order them offline.
Next time you restock, Amazon sells it. But next time you restock, that is the move, Kyle.
I've been putting chapstick on my nose, like all around my nostrils, and I've been blowing my nose into a damp bath towel. And I swear to God, like every time I'll blow my nose, and 10 minutes later I'll like feel more. And every time I blow it, it's like the biggest load of cum you've ever seen in your life.
We know big loads.
We know big loads.
Like you know who you're talking to.
Ounces. It's literally ounces of snot
a third of a bottle of Elmer's.
I could fill 3 shot glasses. And I don't understand where it's coming from. Where is that produced in my body, and how does it keep making enough? Because I don't know that I'm drinking enough liquid to keep up with the amount of mucus that's coming out of me.
Wow. I mean, are you better? You don't sound horrible or anything. Like,
I think, yeah. I have a fever right now. But the sore throat has been gone for probably 2 days, and right now it's mostly as long as I don't take like big deep breaths, I won't cough. But if I ever like, if I blow my nose too hard and it like makes my lungs sort of run out of air, like it's when you get to the bottom of your lung. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I were to keep exhaling until I was completely out of air, I'll hack and cough for like a long time. But as long as I stay in this like top portion of my lung capacity, I won't cough. But yeah, I'm feeling much better now. I've been in bed the whole time since Thursday. I was gonna stream this weekend, but like every day I told myself, I was like, yeah, we'll stream, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. And then I'd wake up just feeling like ass, just feeling so nasty. So I've slept probably 18 hours a day for the last like 3 or 4 days or something like that.
Wow.
Like I'll sleep for like 12 hours or something and then wake up for like 3 hours or something, like just a few hours, just enough to like eat and like drink a bunch of orange juice and take my vitamins and my injections and then like take a shower because like I've got to take a shower. I just feel like a mongrel and brush my teeth and everything. And then I usually pass right back the fuck out. I was worried wasn't going to be. I'm feeling good right now. I think something about doing this kind of takes my mind off it. I guarantee when I walk away from here, I'm going to be like, oh, we entertained.
Oh, yeah, I'm sick.
That's right.
I'm super compelled to say this before the moment passes. That move you do where you sort of use the top half of your lung capacity and not exhale a ton. If you ever need to float for a long time, that's the move. Even a guy with Kyle's body composition floats well when he's at the full inhale.
Yeah. Yeah. I got my dad's pool the other day. Sunk like a rock.
Like a stone.
I was like, I've never been able to just sit on the bottom of a pool before. I'm just
exhale. Everyone well, I don't know about everyone, but
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been able to do that. Like just completely. If I exhale, I'm just sitting down there like,
You don't have any fat on you, so that's all just weighing you down.
Not much. Not enough that I can do that now.
Are you bummed that you can't be working out?
I'd skip laps of warm up. Like I'd just exhale. I'd sit on the bottom of the deep end with a diver's dove. I'd let people go down and back. Then I'd come back up and join them. Like not breathing for 40 seconds was, the move to save energy. It wasn't, but I liked it.
Kyle, are you bummed you haven't been able to work out? Or are you doing like
no, I haven't worked out
at home?
No, I haven't worked out. I've just felt like shit.
That's for the best.
I guess they talked about me on the Joe Rogan episode this week. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, did they?
Cool.
Yeah, they showed the clip. They showed the clip of the door.
Of you almost dying.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Were they talking about you? Were they talking about Diego running from you?
God, I wish they were. I doubt it though. I haven't. I don't have my Spotify login on me. But someone I've got a link to it.
Has anything else happened with that Diego thing?
He just keeps running.
Into it.
I mean, he keeps running. He doesn't want to fight apparently. And I'm just tired of chasing him. I don't know what to do. He's just a coward.
What a fucking pussy.
That's the word on the street. Diego Pussy Sanchez.
Everyone's talking about it. He's a huge puss.
That seems to be the case. I don't know. I guess he doesn't want to fight, so I guess I'll leave him alone.
He doesn't want to get his ass kicked by a YouTube guy.
But never forget, Diego is a vagina, and he's clearly just afraid to deal with the the hurting that I put on him. You
said if you had to fight one of these guys, you would want that guy that Jake Paul fought, Ben Askren, because he'll just choke you out real quick, right?
Yeah. Oh, I would love to fight Ben Askren. I have no illusions about beating Ben Askren or anything like that. I mean, I don't think. I mean, God.
Yeah, I would definitely.
I mean, after Jake, I don't know.
It is difficult to beat a YouTuber, but he was an Olympian. He made his Olympic team, Ben Askren.
I don't know what to say about what happened with him and Jake Paul. Like after seeing what happened with Jake Paul, it's like wait, but how did that happen? It's a real aberration. I'll just say this: I have no illusions about beating up Ben Askren. However, I know that if I fought Ben Askren, I would watch that fight that night on TV with some friends laughing. And like, oh, can you believe I did that? That was ridiculous, huh? Didn't even hurt. But, I feel like that's how the fight would end. Whereas if you fought name a other UFC fighter, that's not how it would end.
Yeah,
for the most part, if you like
streaks. Justin Gaethje, don't fight him.
Oh, Justin seems like a real nice guy, though. I feel like
He hits like a ton of.
me and him are
bricks,
gonna have a
though.
talk before the fight. Dude, I'm such a big fan, first of all, and I am. I'm a huge Justin Gaethje fan.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where the fuck he is. He should be. He's right up there as a contender, in my opinion. He lost one fight.
I feel like he had a fight announced.
Good. I want to see him fight like a top 5 guy because he is a top 5 guy. He's a top 3 guy.
Is Dana White not big on him, or is he not a good self-promoter?
The whole his weight class division is like a fucking mess because Khabib retired, and then you've got Poirier and Conor had their whole thing for some reason, and that fucked everything up. And then you've got Oliveira, who's like the champ, and I don't know why he isn't immediately fighting Poirier for the belt. And then like you've also got guys like Tony Ferguson who are like in the top 10, I guess, but like aren't seemingly fighting. But Gaethje is to me like right there alongside Poirier. Is it Oliveira? Charles Oliveira or Olivier? Whatever it is. The guy with the fucking shiny ass white teeth that look fake as hell. Yeah, I like Gaethje a lot. I like his whole background, his whole story. I like the whole thing.
So Zach found an update. I thought that he had signed about to fight Michael Chandler. And I just found a link saying he did. So I thought it was true, but this is 11 hours ago, and he declined the fight against Chandler. So it might be one of those deals. The UFC sometimes announces fights before the contracts are signed because it pressures like, you know, Taylor's fighting Kyle. And then if Taylor's like, no, I'm not, then you know Taylor backed out. Yeah, so they do that to people. It's
pretty shitty, but
they do a lot of shitty manipulation things. But if it's not you and you're just a fan watching the evil go down, it's good entertainment.
Yeah, and it's a good way to like drum up a little bit of interest for fights. Sometimes, you know, like I like it if there's a story. You know, sometimes it's enough to say X is going to fight O, boys. Let's go. You're like, holy shit, X is fighting O. Let's do it. But then if like X gets on the internet and starts saying that he's gonna fuck O's wife, and O is like, no one talks about my wife, X. I'm coming for you, and it's personal. You're like, oh shit. Okay, I didn't care about X and O before, but now
I'm already doing analysis. For some reason, I think the letter X is a striker and the letter O has a smothering ground game.
Yeah, sure.
Doesn't that seem like they would? Right? One's pokey and stabby, and the other's kind of
all encompassing. Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, I don't know. It does seem like that sometimes. Like I didn't watch the last event mostly because I was unconscious, but you know, there weren't any fights on there that really were compelling to me. Yeah, and there was a huge football game the other night, and Georgia beat Clemson. Fucking first game of the year, number 5 Georgia has to play number 3 Clemson, and we win. Not a really great performance, but we won nonetheless.
Great defensive performance.
Incredible defensive performance, one of the greatest ever.
Well, you've been saying that's Georgia's kind of bread and butter is having really good defense.
I mean, when you're in the top 5, they've always had good defense.
You hold the other team to 3, you usually win.
You hold the other team to 3, usually win.
Oh, I didn't know that's how the score was.
10-3, and the touchdown was a pick 6. So, you know, interception that was ran back. So
technically, the defense won on their own, 6-3.
The defense won on their own. Yeah,
that's so funny. The offense did nothing.
The offense sort of like helped control field position.
Did they get the extra point credit? I don't know.
Yeah. They got that too. Yeah, but they didn't need it, right? So yeah, it was. I didn't watch the game. I had to watch the highlights of the game because again, felt like shit. But I'm super excited.
I mean, Georgia number 2.
Number 2 in the country, but
it's those fuckers at number 1 you got to worry about.
like we're number 2 almost every year. Like we you know we
usually
get there to number 2.
To top 2.
Yeah, we'll make a visit to the top 3 every year for sure. Like the last 5 years, I think it's happened probably 4 times. But the problem is, you're either first or last in college football, right? So it's that's how you feel if you're Georgia.
As a team also receiving votes, 2 feels like a win.
Man,
a single digit feels like a win.
I'm gonna make a prediction. Here it is. It's September the 7th. Georgia is going to run the table this year. They're not going to lose a game. They might lose one, and the game that I think they could lose is to Florida. It's always a rough time. South Carolina could be close because South Carolina plays us hard.
Somehow
They always bring their A game. Other than that, I think Georgia runs the table. They go undefeated. Then they face Alabama for the SEC championship, which is the de facto national championship, most likely.
Yeah,
because then whoever wins that goes on to play like Ohio State or whoever the fuck else has managed to get up there from a different division. And Alabama probably wins that. I think Alabama beats us because this is a pretty easy schedule. UAB is going to be a blowout. South Carolina, like I said, they play.
Actually, so UAB is University of Auburn, right? They always win a game or two they're not supposed to.
No, UAB is University of Alabama, Birmingham. I just know because someone I know went there for college.
Auburn?
It's a very
AUB,
small school.
Right?
Auburn's right below. It's the UA, right below Vanderbilt on the right column. But yeah, Vanderbilt's a blowout for us. Arkansas is a blowout for us.
So South Carolina plays you guys well, I thought you said.
They do. South Carolina always plays us well. That could easily be I still think we win by 12 or 14, but it could be a closest game. Kentucky gets blown out. Mizzou gets blown out. All these teams are getting blown out. Tennessee, Florida, the SEC teams basically I think are the issues. Auburn, Tennessee, and Florida are going to be the real issues. And then Georgia Tech is just going to be. I love that it's the last game of the year because I know a lot of Tech fans, and it's sweet justice humiliating them every year.
You just run up the score on them.
I hope so. I hope it's embarrassing. I don't know where the game will be played at, but I hope it's out here in Atlanta, and I hope that it's just a real butt fucking because it's. I don't know. I enjoy it. They're Tech fans are very hoity-toity.
How's Mizzou this year, Taylor? Are they going to get any votes?
I think on the list, they were one of those teams that's teams that got some votes, but not in the top 25. I really don't follow Mizzou football at all.
They should count. There should, instead of being top 25, it should be top, 36 to 41, depending on how many teams got votes.
Top 60. Give us the top 60.
No, because there aren't 60 teams that get votes, right? But there are 35 to 41 teams that do. NC State is 27th right now. And that's just fact.
Yeah, that's the simple truth.
That's the simple truth. They are 27th right now. You don't have to count too far down that other teams receiving votes list to figure out where you are.
I don't think Mizzou will be good this year.
NC State is going to get ranked. Their first 3 games should be pretty easy. As a matter of fact, you know how they give them a percentage win chance? On one of them, we have a 99.6% chance of winning. I think it's a high school team. So we should be 3-0. And during that time, we should get a number.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Mizzou schedule. We're going to get probably smoked by Georgia, beat badly by Florida. Texas A&M is really good this year, so they'll beat us.
It's Florida's ranking this at the moment.
They're 13 right now. Yeah, so
dangerous.
Well,
dangerous for Georgia, a 13th ranked team. For a team like State or Mizzou, you just hope they don't hurt you, right? Like 13, the boxing commission doesn't allow this. They make sure that there are 2 fighters of equal calibers in there. NC State just beat a team 45-0, and our coach wasn't pleased.
Man, I'm looking at just the history of Mizzou versus Georgia. Not a good tale of the tape. 1-9 against Georgia since 1960. Last win 2013. Got
Not
you
too
pretty
long.
good 8 years ago.
Take that.
But that's it. Georgia has never lost at Missouri. They've beat us every single time that they've come. Yeah, hopefully, I hope our teams get a little bit better this year. It's not fair. Every year we pretend to be into this, and Kyle's team is great, and, and ours are not. We're always like, hey, did you see? For 3 days there, we were on the list.
We've got 2 running backs averaging over 100 yards a game right now. So that's the benefit of playing University of South Florida.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe that'll hold. And
It could.
it'll be perfect.
I've been dizzy today. And it's you stand up, you're
Good.
dizzy. No big deal, right? I'm 2.5 rooms later before I regain my bearings and everything's okay. I'm like, do I need salt, hydration? I don't know. I don't think it's a COVID sign, but I'm just like, this isn't normal for me.
Just feeling a little off. That sucks.
Like a lot off. Like I could never read during these dizzy spells. Like I'm light years from being able to do that. I bump into the walls. Like it's not a little like subtle thing.
Damn.
I could fall. Like, and I have a big motorcycle trip planned this weekend, so I'm mostly denying it. That's my strategy so far.
It's going to be do or die on that motorcycle, sink or swim. You do. I will not get dizzy. One strike and you're out. Well, that sucks. Hopefully you're fine by this weekend.
My prediction is I am, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. Like I drove today, and it's not like I'm dizzy all the time. I'm just dizzy when I first get up, so it wasn't super dangerous. But I did like get in the car, and I'm like, take a beat and then drive, because you're fucked right now. It's Jackie's birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday! Any
she
plans?
Turned 49 today, so I wished her a happy 50th birthday because the day of her birth should count. She doesn't think that's funny at all. She is not getting that joke in the slightest. No.
Women are notoriously upbeat about 50, remember? It's their favorite age.
Yeah, so I bought her a pimp cake and a bunch of other stuff. But
are you going to get off the diet for a night, have some cake?
Yes. Yeah,
very nice.
I'm going to have a piece of cake. And also I don't know why. I think like blood sugar dizzy thing, like maybe it's part of the solution. We'll give it a try.
Yeah. Couldn't hurt. Just a piece of cake.
Oh, if you've gotten your blood sugar low, you need to do some cardio. You're on that fat burning curve. There's nothing in your system, Woody. Get out there and do some laps.
Yeah, I will totally do PKA with my face bloodied and falling in the driveway.
You haven't done cardio until you've done crying crawls. That's the best cardio. When you're sobbing and crawling through the yard. The calories burned.
I thought I broke my wrist Friday. What? So I was dirt biking, right? And everyone knows what a dirt bike is, right? It's not a BMX bike. It's a motorcycle dirt bike. And we're going too long. My goggles are like foggy. I can't see shit. The sun is like sort of setting in through the trees, whatever. I'm going through the trail, and there is a tree that stuck out, and it's burnt, making it even more invisible to me. Anyway, I might have been going 20 when my handle grip hit it. And it did this thing where it kind of pushed my wrist back and up. Not different than like how you might fall on your palm, like the same sort of thing. And for days it was hurt. I would have gone to the doctor, but it was Labor Day weekend and they were closed. They were even closed on Monday. I called today. I waited on hold for 20 minutes twice and didn't get through. But I feel so much better than I did Friday that I think it's minor.
Yeah. On the back end,
but
hopefully both you guys are on the back end.
Took a few days off from lifting because I was like, if you do have a broken wrist, that's probably one of the bad things.
Yeah. I did play poker last night, so I got a quick $75 win in.
Nice.
During one of my 4-hour periods of wakefulness.
Yeah, it looks like you just had quite the sneezing and coughing fit.
I think you have COVID.
I'm
so if you're on the back end of COVID now and you're fine, the biggest issue was irritated nose, then I feel like you've got more. You've got the vaccine and the COVID. You're like a COVID battling machine at this point.
Yeah, I'll once I'm completely cleared up, I'll go get checked for COVID antibodies and we'll know. But I'm not going to go out and go into the healthcare realm right now with potential COVID. The whole system's so taxed right now. You could even though I could probably order a test. I'll see if the tests are cheap to order.
I bet you can get something on Amazon. But while you're getting it off Amazon, get those Puffs Kleenexes with lotion in it. It's gonna make a world of difference.
I've got these
no! What are you doing?
I've got these shop towels.
You got those blue towels.
They've actually got pumice in them, so you get every bit of the mucus out.
5,000 grit. I can polish up my headlights with these babies too.
I use this before I put a clear coat on a car.
that looks fucking miserable. To have to blow your nose 25 times a day into paper towels.
It's literally why I'm blowing it into
COVID tests.
Yeah. I figured there were. No, I literally like on day 2 swapped to like using a towel. It's really gross, but I just immediately like I blow my nose like 10 times into a towel, like folding it over and over, and then wash them.
Truth, when I'm producing as much mucus as you are, I do that move sometimes.
There's so much.
I don't like having, like, let's say you're in bed and you're blowing your nose a lot. You can have a towel in there, which is gross. I get it, but it's one thing. Or you can have 160 Kleenexes around, and then you have to eventually collect them and put them in a thing. And
I just treat it like a sex towel.
Yeah,
I just treat it like a sex towel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the gross part is the part we fold it up.
You just pretend there's no gross part.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once once you're alone, you open it up and you lick it clean, of course. And
all the crusty dryness.
Rookie move, Kyle. You don't just sit there and smell it for the next 2 weeks.
Oh God, that's some 4chan shit. Oh man,
With the cum box.
Oh, it's so dark.
Well, you guys want to call it so Kyle can go back to bed?
That's a good call. PKN.